The Business in Wales podcast, sponsored by Sinclair Group, the business media for Wales. Hello and welcome back to the Business in Wales podcast with me, Daniel Bevan. Now, we are, of course, outside of the studio today, but still in Dragon HQ because we've got 5 fantastic guests here. We're, of course, the media partners for She Who 2026, and we wanted to get as many of the founders as possible here together. So we've got Lauren, Gemma, Sarah, Hannah, and Kerry all here with us today. How are we all?
Fantastic. Yeah.
I'm very well. Thank you so much for having us. It's hard to get everybody all, get everyone's diaries aligned. So we're really, really happy to have you all. Who wants to take us from the beginning, really, and start us off by telling us how She Who came about?
Go on, Jem, you start.
Yeah. So She Who started on International Women's Day, and I think as individuals and the organisations that we worked, there were a lot of brilliant IWD events that were happening locally, but we just felt that there was space to do something bigger and something more collaboratively. We were all essentially trying to champion the same mission, which is all around equity and championing the future generation. So we decided to come together, and we've just done our 3rd event, and we're now the largest International Women's Day event in Wales. So it's been really exciting to see how it goes. But broader than that, we want to expand outside of International Women's Day, and it's this theme about momentum. So, not just an isolated event. We've actually built a community which is formed of like-minded businesses that are all part of championing that same mission. So, yeah, essentially, that's what it's about: collaboration, partnership.
So the biggest International Women's Day event in Wales is a really, really big achievement. So congrats to everybody. But tell me a little bit about why it's not just about that single day, the single event.
So we've always from the very beginning have been quite, it isn't just about one day. And I've always been quite sceptical of International Women's Day events because, oh, great, we just get to celebrate one day a year. But actually, I've come round to terms with it because it's celebrating what you do all year round. And again, that's why this group works so well, because we just click with that. It's not just about one day. And the first International Women's Day event we did, one of the audience was like, could you do an event where I can bring my daughters? And then another one was like, well, I want to bring my sons. So straight away, that was like, great, we've been asked, we're going to deliver. So, through all our contacts and things, obviously the FAW were really keen to support She Who. So we put on an event for people to bring their families. And I think it was when the female team made history, didn't they? Yeah, and so, it's all about responding to what people want. And again, we started as an International Women's Day momentum because we were all doing our own events, and that was silly, so we come together, but there's so much more of it than that. And we've done various events, very much, you can't be it if you can't see it. So we do something in the valleys with the Be It, See It mission. There's loads of events all year round, as well as challenges. We've jumped out of planes. Hannah, you want to talk about your death?
Let's not give me PTSD of India.
Yeah. So there's other stuff going on that we do challenges throughout the year. So we ask people to come to us and say, right, what do you want? What challenges do you want to do? Are there charities? They speak to us all through the year to say, what can we do with She Who? So the International Women's Day is where we began, but it's not where we're finishing. But Han, you've got to tell us about the challenge.
It was great. It was organised by Emma Sale and Fran James. And it was 56 female entrepreneurs trekking on tuk-tuks from Chennai to Goa, which sounds easy.
It really doesn't.
When I say. So it did sound, it was just a mental, it wasn't even preparation, so I went, oh, this will be fine. It was actually more mentally challenging than I thought. Running a marathon with no training was a lot easier. I'll give it that.
Really?
But what I did live from it was you build, your resilience, you meet a load of women who really want to champion each other and help each other. And I keep bringing back to 50 years ago, if a woman can get a mortgage on her own. So that's what that change is huge. And it's not male bashing whatsoever. It's more of the rallying everyone around to just help each other. And for me, it's massively to bring our children and the younger generations through to see people like Sarah said, you know, see it, be it. I didn't have that when I was younger, growing up as a C-suite position. So now that females can see and aspire to that, and founders and not being afraid to be a female founder and a female businesswoman, and actually owning it and empowering it.
Mm-hmm. I'm really keen to know if you kept the tuk-tuk.
Do you know what? Pauline, who owns Dr. Paw, she did. She bought the tuk-tuk.
She brought it back.
I had to ship back.
No way.
Well, that's not going in the hand luggage, is it?
Honestly, but no, I didn't keep it. And I wouldn't do it again because I've done it, but a load of women did it again and they've loved it just as much as we did. There's another one to Morocco in November, so I'm considering that one. Yeah, across mountains. And it is just a great thing to do. We raised, I think it was 200,000 for girls' schools in India because the disparity is massive in India, but I think there's a lot more we can do in the UK as well.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. A question for each of you individually then. What does She Who mean to you?
Do you want me to go?
Go on then, Lars, you start.
So She Who, for me, we're all incredibly passionate about it, and I just see it as like my baby. I absolutely love it. And I think for me, you know, I'm at the start of my career, and I've been lucky enough to work within an organisation where I've got a lot of support around me. But even with that, having those individuals around you to help you, support you, look up to, is really it's really difficult to find. And luckily enough, even though I'm involved in She Who, I've managed to meet obviously my founders who I love working with, and I've learned loads off, and I can lean for help. And I think for me with She Who is creating this community, which I kind of wish, even though I'm at the start of my career, maybe I had when I first joined Alacrity about 6 years ago, because it is quite lonely and isolating. And obviously we work in tech, which again, there's such a gender imbalance. And having communities like this, and not just, you know, the wishy-washy ones, because there are those around, but having one that's really meaningful and creates actionable change, and just has like such good energy about, which is exactly what we've wanted to do with She Who, and I really think we have achieved that, and we'll continue to build on. It's just quite, I don't know, it brings you a bit of comfort when it can be quite an daunting environment. So I think for me, She Who is having a really like collaborative community, and community is the purpose of it. Like as everyone has said, it was for International Women's Day, we do all these stuff, but community is literally at the heart of it. And I think being able to build a community for people like me and other people around me, whether you start the career or at the end of your career, to have that to lean on, I think is super important and probably the most important thing. And that community is going to be the most important thing which drives change. It's really hard to do things on your own. So having a vehicle like this to be able to do that is like incredible. And I honestly, I feel so grateful we've been able to achieve that. I hope so anyway.
Who wants to follow that?
I think for me, following on from what Loz said, women are still massively underrepresented in senior leadership positions. And, you know, one of the things that we're really passionate about with the team is to create spaces that we can have those difficult conversations. So it's very much sort of, you know, we want it, I think I said before, that it's about creating momentum and not just moments, and actually really discussing the actual barriers about what is preventing women from progressing. And I think what I love about She Who is the community that we've built is inclusive. It's not just about women, it's about everybody, every business, every sector, and their parts to play in paving a better future for the next generation. As we said, you know, for our daughters, our sisters, you know, our male colleagues, they're not going to want that for their colleagues and, you know, for their family members. And I like the fact how action orientated She Who is. It's, you know, it's not just about creating that isolated event. It's about actually driving meaningful change. And the other part for me is about all of us, I think, have benefited from having role models and, sort of having mentorship and, people that will really sort of push us forward. And I think as a team, we come together and we do that for one another. But more, I think what we would like to do or see more of is how we can support the business community and, how we can sort of create that support for the next generation of leaders.
Sinclair Group has been part of the motor industry for over 80 years. That's not just a number, it's generations of trust built on shared values, because family isn't just who you're born to, it's who you choose to stand with, and that's what matters to us. We offer new and approved used vehicle sales and service for some of the world's biggest motor brands, and trust, that's at the heart of it all. So whether you're starting your journey or continuing a legacy, visit sinclairgroup.co.uk. Belong for good.
It's actually a really good opportunity for us to do a very shameless plug for the latest edition of the Businessin Wales magazine, because we've got a fantastic double-page spread. I would say that because I wrote it. All about She Who, but also about the Women in Wales Awards, which, of course, Gemma, you were a winner. Rising leader. Fantastic. Congratulations. And Sarah, you were one of our judges. So even though me and you speak to Gemma relatively frequently, we both had to keep our mouths shut.
Absolutely, yeah.
So I'm really keen to know.
I bowed out of the conversation because I can't judge this. She's a good friend and fellow founding partner, so I did bow out.
Yes.
But you would have had my vote, of course.
No, independent judging panel. So yeah, we all had an opportunity to sort of say, probably shouldn't have a vote on this one, although I didn't vote at all, to be honest. But anyway, what does that award mean to you, Gemma, do you think?
It means a great deal. So as I said, I really believe there's more work to be done to champion the next generation of female leaders. So I think to be acknowledged as one was, I was very, very proud to fly the flag. I think awards like that are really, really important to provide a platform to, showcase and elevate the amazing work that women do across the business community. That there are so many just incredible women. I think just to be shortlisted amongst them was a huge achievement. So I was incredibly proud.
And a trophy on your mantelpiece at the moment?
Yes, it is.
That's good.
Of course.
Absolutely. You had to say that.
Can I, as a judge,
please, yeah.
The level of entries was phenomenal. I did want to give everybody the award. It was absolutely phenomenal, and it just shows, wow, we've got some amazing female leaders and aspiring leaders in Wales. So proud to be part of it.
Something for next year. We probably could have recorded it as a podcast, because there were some fiery fiery discussions. No one fell out, but there was a lot of absolutely, just about. Yeah. But we did get a bit stir crazy by the end of it, I think. Anyway, Kerry, can I bring you in to talk a little bit about what She Who means to you?
Yeah, obviously we've talked about why it started, but I think that inclusivity piece is really, really important. I know all of us have been to a lot of women-focused events where they do become a little bit sort of male bashing, and that is something that we want to be as far away from as possible. The inclusivity aspect isn't just gender-based. Also, it is in terms of experience and confidence to attend an event. The first event we did, I had so many people come up to me and say, this looked really inclusive. It looked really energized. And I thought, I'll push myself to go to something. And they hadn't been, we network all the time, but they hadn't actually put themselves into that. To them, that was a huge step to actually put themselves in that space. And then year on year, obviously that audience has grown and the message has spread, and the pure energy behind She Who and our kind of slightly disruptive vibe, Hannah's nice little comments and things like that. I think it just makes it really relaxed, but also so empowering to everybody, regardless of kind of what role, what seniority you are, and the genuine connection and energy in the room, pre and post the actual sort of speaking elements. We can't get rid of people. Basically, they want to stay. They want those conversations to happen. And I think sometimes you go to networking events and it's a little bit more stale and a little bit more challenging to sort of be in a group and join a group and actually make new connections. So really seeing that part of She Who Grow is something that I'm incredibly passionate about. I know we all are. And that community aspect throughout the year as a kind of a group is just ongoing. We have messages continually about people that want to work with us, that want to come in, which I always think is a huge sort of sign that we're doing something well. And also the feedback is just incredible. We're just, honestly, it is quite a little bit overwhelming sometimes, you know, what people have taken from it. So keeping that going is probably going to be hard, but, you know, we've got so many people around to support us. It's really authentic. I think that's probably the best way to describe it. Yeah. You know, why it was created is authentic, and how it will grow will continue to be like that. So, yeah, we were excited. Yeah.
I think it's the organisations that have sort of reached out to get involved as well. I mean, you know, from the very start, Alacrity Foundation, Blake Morgan, Pure Cyber, FinTech Wales, Tramshed Tech. So, you know, they've been involved from the start, but we've got more and more businesses that want to work with us through partnership, through sponsorship. So you can see sort of how it's growing just from that. Obviously, you came on board as a sponsor for our last IWD event, and that's just sort of showing how much the community has grown. And that's what we want is, we want, you know, very much to sort of create something where it's not competitive. This is all about the mission and something much bigger. And I think, again, it just goes back to that collaborative piece. So, yeah, the more organisations that want to reach out and get involved, we're massively keen to support, or to endorse, basically.
Mm. So, yeah, just to add to that, like She Who is about collaboration. You know, as CEO of FinTech Wales, so everything I do is about collaboration and promoting Wales to the world. And, you know, there's so much going on in Wales. We've got phenomenal businesses, phenomenal leaders, phenomenal, you know, everything. And so, you know, and the world is watching. So for us, you know, She Who is all about that collaboration. We are stronger together, and that's why this works so well. And, you know, the name did start, was it She Who Leads, She Who Gets done.
That is how it actually started.
That's how it started. Yeah.
But it was that to sort of, and even between all of us, it meant different things. And so for everyone we speak to, it means something different to them. But for me, I hope it's the safe space. It is the safe space to come and network, safe space to come and see who, you know, what your future could look like. You know, for anyone, any gender, and any race, anything you want to be. You know, hopefully She Who empowers that, you know, for people to be whoever they want to be.
And I think, sorry, on to Say's point, and Kez, actually, the whole energy behind the event is so special. And I think it's because this isn't a tick box exercise at all, which sometimes you can find with events like this. It can be. And I think because it's not, this is all, we don't gain anything apart from our community from this. You know, this isn't for financial benefit or anything. This is purely because we feel so passionate about it. We work outside of working hours to do it. Like, this is a real passion project for us. And I think that really translates into our events, not just International Women's Day, but everything we do outside of that. This is really purpose driven and like comes from all of our hearts, and is something so important to all of us. And as Sir said, it can be an environment for anyone that wants to grow and just choose who they want to come as that day. You know, we all have bad days, good days, but I think the goal for us is to have this community where you can be who you are, not afraid to show your vulnerabilities, because that's the most, I think, scariest part. You look at everyone, it's so hard to not compare, but to have an environment where we have people who are at the end of their careers to say, this is where I'm at now, but be vulnerable. Our panels are very vulnerable, aren't they? They're very honest. But that's what we want, because it's not plain sailing, and to have this space where you can see that and see progression, I think, is just super important. But that energy bit comes from, because this is genuinely a purpose-driven thing.
And Hannah, what does She Who mean to you?
It means a lot to me, actually. It is a passion project, like Lars said. It's not for profit. It'll always be a not for profit. The idea is to give back. So if I look at my Hannah, who is a 20-year-old, compared to Hannah, who's 40. Not yet. Next month. I've got 4 weeks left. They're two very different people. And also, if I could go back and find someone who I could have reached out to at that time and had the confidence to reach out and say, could you help me? Sometimes starting a business isn't about the money. You don't really need the money. Sometimes you just need a bit of guidance, a bit of confidence, knowing who you need to know. And it is going back to what Kerry said, the networking part is really important, but also the right people around you. Yeah. And we're creating that space. I love it. And I hope my children really get involved with it as they grow up, because they've got such big ambitions. And young and naive, I don't want them to dampen that down. I want them to flourish in that environment and use this as a vehicle to do that. Mm-hmm.
Sinclair Group has been part of the motor industry for over 80 years. And in that time, we've learned it's not just about cars, it's about the impact we leave behind. We believe in driving change, supporting the people around us where we live and work. Because when our communities thrive, we all do. We offer new and approved used vehicle sales and service for some of the world's biggest motor brands. But what drives us goes far beyond the road. So whether you're starting your journey or continuing your legacy, visit sinclairgroup.co.uk. Belong for good.
I hope you don't mind saying that something that really struck me when I was there was that energy in the room. You talked about community, all of you, but I think the word that was used on the day was the village. And I love the phrase that it takes a village to raise a child. So it sort of feels a little bit like that. It takes a village to start a company, to raise a company and grow one. So I feel like that community aspect, it couldn't be more genuine. You hear it a lot, but with you, it really does feel like that community is the main thing.
Yeah. And that's what like you say, the vulnerabilities, we're all real people, we're all, we've all got lives outside, I'm a mum of 3, and I think most of our children have been to a She Who event. Han, your daughter was there at the last IWD, wasn't she?
Dragged her. She half enjoyed it.
Yeah, my 7-year-old was at the FAW, the women's football, and actually thought it was his event and started welcoming hundreds of people through the door.
It was his event. By the end of the actual thing, he was managing all the queues. All the queues for autographs. I was like, I need more security, because the kids were just like, and he was just like, I'll help. And I was like, okay, lovely, you'll be in charge of security for the autographs.
Yeah. So we've been there a few hours before.
He was brilliant.
Yeah, so he thought it was his event. So, but yeah, good luck to him.
It's not going to shock anyone to know that that's exactly what I would be doing if I was a youngster doing that.
Just on that point as well, I think one of the main things that comes across as well, that life and careers aren't linear. And particularly on some of our speakers, their journeys have not been like, okay, I'm going to be successful and I'm just going to get there. And I think really that transparency about how that journey could look, the ups and downs, the successes, the failures, but how you learn from them. And I think people really, really take that genuine sort of sharing of people's very personal stories, sometimes very emotional stories. It really brings that authenticity that we've mentioned, and creates that village where they are happy to share then, and they are happy to be open about what they find challenging, etc. And I think that's where that power comes, and that's where change actually comes. People's lives have changed because of some of the things that we've done, and people make decisions based on what they've heard and learnt. And I think, honestly, it is really powerful. People, talk to us about it all the time, but I think that is the challenge for us, is to keep that momentum and to really, because we are doing it on top of everything else that we do in life. So it is keeping that momentum really and making sure. So there's quite a few things coming up soon that we'll be announcing, but I think that's the biggest thing for us really.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's all about driving equity. And it's, allyship is massively important. So, our events are, they're open for everybody. And every year we've seen an increase in men that have attended our IWD event. But what has been really lovely for us as a team is the feedback that we've had is that sort of education piece where they've sort of said, wow, we recognised that there were issues, but we didn't realise how prominent those issues are and could be within the organisations. So it's, to be able to sort of drive those conversations and create environments that's just highlighting that awareness, and then people are coming away with practical, things that they can do to support their colleagues and the next generation is massively important. So it's about driving equity, I think, and that allyship piece is crucial to achieve that.
Absolutely.
Just on that point as well, I think we've talked about the See It Be It events that we do, but we've also done quite a lot of events in colleges with Coleg Gwent and other, and actually the diversity in the room is maintained. So we did something at Cross Keys around working in STEM and about females working in STEM and trying to encourage more girls.
And for International Day of the Girl.
International Day of the Girl, and 50% of the audience was male. And also that's how we drive change. That's how we show our sons and obviously the wider community that they need to, that progress is real and they need to be part of it themselves. And it's just so encouraging to see them and stay around and chat to them later about different jobs and roles and things like that. But, it's really inclusive at that age as well. So it's just really encouraging to see and see that continue then through, obviously, into the more sort of senior roles and experience.
Mm-hmm.
We don't take our position lightly of who we put on that panel. It's not by luck of who we get. We talk all the time about who would be good or who would be, this was the first was the last event was a theme of firsts, so that shaped it. But I think it shows, I think our first event we did have an all female panel because that was our thoughts of actually that's what we're doing it for, but actually we've evolved, She Who has evolved, and the panelists have that just shows how it has evolved. And it's not, say, it's, even though we're called She Who, it's not necessarily all about the gender. So, and it's probably one of the main conversations we have of who's going to be on the panel. We all put ideas in, and it's not one person in the She Who will make that decision. It's a combined effort, and because we want to put the right people on the panel, and say it's not down to who they are. It's what stories will inspire, and actually hopefully help someone make that decision at the end of the day.
Absolutely. Well,
and we do this also like more than a year in advance as well.
Yeah.
Like we are planning IWG 2027 already. But we kind of already start planning it.
Available now, guys.
Yeah. And also, this speaker list is already got about 20 people on it that we're going to start shortlisting.
But we already have speaker ideas before we've even delivered last year's International Women's Day or this year's International Women's Day. We already have speakers lined up or ideas of speakers before we've even done that one. So like Sis said, there's so much energy and time that goes into this, and it's not very much not a slapdash thing. It takes a long, long time to get perfect. So yeah, it's very what's the word? I guess driven. Yes, driven and like thought of. We really care, and I think it translates. So, yeah.
Well, even if it's half as good as this year's, it's worth going to because it was a fantastic event and a fantastic panel as well. So tell me a little bit about growing the organisation itself, because as we've already discussed, this isn't your full-time jobs. You have complete full-time jobs. Some of you are mums. Certainly, everyone's got lots of things going on in their lives. This is something, a passion project for you, but it's grown so quickly. How have you managed that?
How have we managed that?
How have we done it? We're just,
if you can even think about it.
We are energetic people in general. We are, and I think we're all very...
we're all workers.
We're all creative. We are quite all creative. We're all coming from those kind of creative backgrounds, and so I think that energy that is in the room is because we kind of are driving that a little bit ourselves. But we've got quite a big strategy day coming up ourselves, so think about how it's going to look going forward. But it would be something that we would love is to actually have that community space. So we have different social media platforms, Loz Marriages, brilliantly, all of that. She's fantastic. But bringing that to life a little bit, so making some more in-person opportunities, keeping that continuous energy there, and hopefully bringing in more partners that can actually support the members of those communities and in that village environment where if people needed financial advice or needed women founders and different other areas, so how we can actually build a community around them that is a trusted network, because I think trust is a huge thing, knowing where to turn that advisory piece regardless of what that needs and what that looks like. So yeah, there's a lot of new things to come. I'm sure Hannah's got more.
No, we play to our strengths as well, don't we?
Yeah.
Because we talk all the time, and I think that's what it's like a business. It's a side hustle business. Another one.
It doesn't feel like a job.
And another one.
We've all got different skill sets, and we've all got different, we come from different backgrounds, different sectors, and we've really evolved as a team. So we all look after different elements of She Who.
And we're all really different, Gem.
Yes,
Very different.
but that's what works.
Yeah.
So we've all got different strengths to bring to the team. So when you ask about growth, we all sort of champion different areas, lead on different areas, and then we come together and basically say, well, this is what we've been doing. But that's just part of, I think, of how we've evolved as a team. We all trust one another, which is massively important. Like Hannah just said, you've got to trust what you do as a team, because whilst we are different, we're all very passionate about She Who, and we all want ultimately to achieve the same thing.
Sinclair Group has been part of the motor industry for over 80 years, and we've never stood still. Because for us, it's not just about where we've been, it's about where we're going. We believe in progress, embracing innovation, investing in technology, and moving towards a more sustainable future for everyone. We offer new and approved used vehicle sales and service for some of the world's most forward-thinking motor brands. But our drive is always to the future. So whether you're starting your journey or continuing your legacy, visit sinclairgroup.co.uk. Belong for good.
What I was going to add is that we are our own allies. We're all do have very, very busy lives, very, very busy jobs, very, very busy outside of work. And I think, example, I think, Han, you're doing your Tuk Tuk Challenge last year, so you couldn't come to the IWD event, which was heartbreaking, but like you were doing some other bigger, better things. But
I know I would have preferred to be, that's for sure.
Absolutely. But naturally we fall into Hannah's role, and then, I've not long been in my CEO role at FinTech Wales, so I feel like I haven't been able to give as much time as I had previously and things, and we all just pick up the pieces for each other as well. There's no, we've all got our strengths. We don't necessarily have like those linear like roles as such, because we all just pick it up as we go along. But we are our own allies, and hopefully that again inspires whoever we work with to do the same. Yeah. Mm-hmm. Sophie's not here from Transhed Tech. She couldn't make it this morning, but she trusts us that we're all
Hopefully
here.
we do a good job.
I was going to say, she'll be watching this with her eyes closed.
Oh, God.
So tell us a bit about what you've got planned for the rest of this year, leading up to the next IWD event.
Go on, Claire.
We're planning some events coming up in person over the summer, so they're going to be pretty exciting, very social type of vibes, so that'll be something nice for everyone to get involved with. Also, our charity of the year is Marie Curie, so I know you were there on the day, but such a powerful talk from one of their chairs, and actually, we sold out a raffle ticket. I've never run an event where we literally sell out of raffle tickets. You're normally trying to sort of sell some extras, so that was incredibly powerful. So to go through the rest of the year, obviously supporting Marie Curie. Loz has signed us up for a few challenges. Loz, do you want to talk about those?
A few Loz?
Yeah. Although I'm hoping it's 12,
it?
not 22. But anyway, let's see what
No, we're doing 22. So Marie Curie, as Claire said, they're our chosen charity of the year, an incredible charity. And they are doing they do these, I can't remember what they call them, but they're like trails across the whole of the UK.
Beat the Trail.
So that's Marie Curie's thing, is Beat the Trail. And their Welsh one is in the Gower. So you can either sign up for an 11-mile or a 22-mile hike. So we're doing the 22-mile.
I knew she was going to say that. I've done it before. So I did it for DOV before, and I did say the 22-mile was a DOV version of it as well. And so, somebody said to me it was the worst day of their life. Let's just say
zone.
I knew you were going to do it though. So we talked about trust earlier. Hang on a minute. Yeah.
I'll put gin in your camel pack for
all right.
you.
Yeah. All right. Then.
That'll be fine.
Yeah.
So we're doing that as a team. That's in September. And we'd love our community to get involved and come on this lovely long hike with us too. So that's something we're going to be doing. There's no planes this time, so it's fine.
My answer was that can we just not risk our lives?
Yeah. It is the Gower. It's
We're
fine.
all for doing everything we can for the challenge. Kerry, Gemma and I jumped out of a plane for motor neuron disease. obviously talked about the tuk-tuk challenge. And, you know, so I was like, can we build a school or something? And do something on the ground. So
We'll do a hike. So the
okay,
hike,
so that's
the hike's
me doing,
first. So
yeah.
that's our like first challenge, I guess. But some other events, as Keir said, we've got something cool coming in the summer. We've done International Day of the Girl with Coleg Gwent for the past 2 years. So we'll be doing another event with them, and that's really important because that's, you know, putting these our goals for She Who into the younger generation. So that'll be in October. We do work with the King's Trust, who again are an amazing organisation, and that's all about empowering entrepreneurs. So there's loads coming up, loads that we'll be sorting out soon. So it's a very exciting time for us.
We're in discussions at the moment about some new partnerships with other organisations as well. So hopefully we'll hear more about that in the autumn. And plans obviously have started with our IWD 2027 event. So yes, there's lots in there. Also, that going back to that mentorship piece, we really think that there is opportunities to explore there about how we can support others within the business community. So there's more discussions around that as well.
Very, very exciting. Well, do keep an eye out on the She Who and also the Business in Wales socials. I'm sure we'll share the news whenever it comes out. That's everything that I wanted to talk about. But we always finish these podcasts by asking if there's any advice for your younger selves. What would it be? Hannah, actually, I'm coming to you first because you did mention about 20-year-old Hannah a little bit earlier. So I wonder what you would say to her.
What would I say to 10-year-old Hannah? I'd reach out to people sooner and not be afraid to do that, because it can be quite daunting. But actually, people just want to help people. If you're in that space, that could be for anything from business advice, career advice, progression, or just if you've got some issues, just to offload. And generally, people will help, and especially in Wales, it's such a lovely community to work and live in. So I'd reach out a lot younger. I'd move a lot quicker.
I don't think you can move any quicker.
I don't know. I look back, and Kerry gave me my first speaking opportunity for ACCA when you worked for ACCA. That's how long we've known each other. Yeah. And without that, I wouldn't be where I am now. So it's those big opportunities that Kerry probably didn't even think was an opportunity at the time. It was just like, I need to chuck. Oh, did you? I need to chuck someone on a stage, like chuck Hannah on. I must have prepped for it for a week. I prepped for it for a week.
Excuse me, she was my most exciting member. And also, she broke the mould of how people perceived an accountant, because at the time she was, obviously, that was her in the CFO role. And I remember also sending her to a board meeting in Bristol with all other CFOs, and her ringing me after to say Kerr was the only one in trainers. They were all like stiff as boards and in their pinstripe suits. And I was like, well, yeah, that's why I need... They asked her if they were on. At least they didn't ask you to make the coffee. But anyway, do you know what I mean? That is the vibe. That is kind of why that energy is now.
But it's about that, you know, and looking back at those challenging times, and it's having people around you that champion you when you're not even in that room. And that is what really the core of She Who and the heart of it all, because we've got our backs with each other at any other time. And just go on gut. I think that's what I would tell my younger self. Yeah. Just go on gut. Yeah. What would you say to your younger self, my love?
Don't put them on the stage.
Unless you want someone to sway and give away free beer, which is always good. But it worked brilliantly, yeah. I think for me, it's being prepared to take a risk. And I think we do doubt ourselves all the way through life, probably, or hold ourselves back a little bit because we're scared a little bit about taking that risk and, you know, that kind of what if it goes wrong, and I think to me, when I was younger, I wish I'd taken a little bit more risk sooner, and knowing that people actually want you to succeed. So most people are not there to bring you down, they are there to lift you up, and so making sure you've got the people that are there going to lift you up, then you're more confident to take that risk and kind of push yourself a little bit out of your comfort zones. And I think from, doing that, I think it's and that's what I encourage my children to do. I'm like, go for it. I've never held them back in any way, shape or form, because I think, right, even though it sounds a little bit like some of their ideas, I'm like, oh my God, I'm never going to be able to do that. But I've always like pushed them forward. So having people that will help push you forward, I think is, don't doubt yourself, take a risk and go for it, basically. Who knows?
She who?
She
Yeah.
who knows?
Who knows?
New tagline. There we go. Yeah.
I think for me, you hear about imposter syndrome being spoken about a lot, and confidence is, I definitely suffered with massive confidence issues. And I think that sort of community and who you surround yourself with is huge. So like Hannah said, it's like who you can reach out to, and just people to give you a little push and to just say, you've got this, is massively important. So yeah, I think that. And somebody said to me, because I've got a mentor now, and she said to me, just do it. You're going to regret it if you don't. And we'll always regret the things that we don't do. So you might as well just do it and learn from it. Back yourself, be bold, and just give it a go. And I think I would love to go back to my younger self and just say, what is the worst that can happen? But yeah, community, and having those people to give you that push. And every single one of the She Who team has done that, I think, for each other at some point.
Mm-hmm.
For me, I think as I've grown, I've always used to be such a perfectionist and I wanted everything to be perfect, but I've learned that done is better than perfect. And I suppose it goes with the just go for it, you know. So, I don't think I can do that because I can't do it to my standard. It's like, no, you can, and gosh, just go for it. So I'm very much, having it done or finish it is better than it being perfect. Another thing I really pride on myself is being nice isn't weakness. Yeah. You know, it's always been one of my things that, you know, just be kind, and it's not a weakness, absolutely not. So yeah, tell lots of people that.
I think mine would be to enjoy the process of becoming. I put so much pressure on myself to constantly want to be amazing at something or the best at something, and it's great to have role models, and I look up to all these ladies around me, and I'm like, I really wish I was there now. And I think I've got so much time, and I'm learning, I'm working on it now to enjoy that process of being uncomfortable and I guess not being as good as something as I want to be, because if I'm constantly in that mindset of I need to be the best and I want to get there now and fast, then I'm never going to be fulfilled. So for me, it's just enjoying that process of becoming 1% better every day, in order to, I guess, constantly feel fulfilled and enjoy growing and enjoy feeling uncomfortable. So yeah, and also be a good person, because good people like good people.
Absolutely. Well, that's it for this edition of... Yours? Oh, what's mine? Oh, God. Gosh. You know what? I ask that question every week, and I've never even thought about it myself. I love hearing about it from other people, but gosh, I think it's a mixture of having the right amount of confidence. You can be too confident, you know, it strays into arrogance, but also to enjoy the moment a bit more, I think. Yeah.
That's nice.
Yeah.
Agree.
Right, well, there we are.
What a nice note to end on. On that note.
I'm having an existential crisis in the outro. That's it for this episode of the Business in Wales podcast, the She Who special. Thank you so much to Kerry, Hannah, to Lauren, to Sarah, and to Gemma. Thank you so much for having us. Hopefully, we'll see you at the She Who IWD event next year, and all the events that you've got between now and the end of this year as well.
Thank you for the support.
Thank you for having us.
No problem at all.
The Business in Wales podcast, sponsored by Sinclair Group, the business media for Wales.